Well, hello everybody. Welcome to Pop Culture Vortex. I am your host, Alex Pinto, and it is my privilege to welcome you to an episode on my channel. And for this episode, we are going to be talking about The Last of Us Season 1, Episode 2. Yes, that is right. Yeah, it is right. Yesterday was the premiere for The Last of Us, as it is based on The Last of Us Part 2 video game. Obviously, well, in general, The Last of Us series is just based off the two video games, right? So there's that. And one thing I'll say about the first season, right? I'll just give my quick thoughts on the first season is this. I do deem that first season the best video game adaptation ever put. I love that first season. As obviously, I love the game. I love that first game. I beat that first game in like one day when I first got it. I love it a lot. I have such high regards for The Last of Us, so obviously I was hyped to watch the series. And the series did not disappoint. I love it so much. Pedro Pascal as Joel was perfect. All right, it was amazing. And of course you have Bella Ramsey as Ellie. They were perfect in the role. I don't care what anybody says. I know they may not look exactly like the video game, but you know what? Doesn't matter. They perfected the role of Ellie. So there's that. And of course, who is the actor that plays Gabriel Luna? Yeah, Gabriel Luna as Tommy is also really good as well. I really liked him as Tommy. So there's that. So that first season really impressed me. So now, in terms of the second game, right, The Last of Us Part 2, I'll admit I did not really get far into that game because there was a certain choice they made in that game, and I think all of you know what it is, that I wasn't fond of. So I kind of stopped playing after that. I mean, let's just say it just involves Joel going on a golfing trip. So there's that. But so now if I'll just say in terms of what that golfing trip means, spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't want to, like for anybody who just watches the Last of Us series but has not played the games and knows nothing about the games, be warned as this is going to be a potential spoiler for the TV show. I mean, well, because this more likely is going to happen in the TV show. There obviously will be changes, but this is the one I think we all can definitively say will happen in the show. So you've been warned. Joel dies. Joel fucking dies in the game. And I didn't like how he died in the game. I thought it was very inconsistent with the character for him to just walk into a room with a group of people he has never met and all that. So especially because this is a Joel that has such severe trust issues. Like, keep in mind, in the first game/season, when he saw some guy begging for help on the street as he's driving, Ellie's like, hey, he needs our help. He's like, he's hurt. He's like, no, he's not. He goes to run him over, and exactly the guy had a gun, and it was a trap. So like, this guy don't fuck around. He doesn't trust nobody. So that's why it always bothered me the way they killed him off in the game. So I'm very interested to see how they handle it in the show. So there's that. So in terms of my expectations for this second season, it was very much a little lower. Sorry, let me just handle this lighting issue. There you go. All right, so I didn't have too many expectations for this second season. So I was very interested to see how they handle, really how they handle that upcoming golf trip for Joel. And fingers crossed they weren't going to kill him off in the first episode. I mean, keep in mind, in this case, kind of sucks at what this game did, considering that Pedro Pascal is this show's biggest star. So I was very interested to see how they would handle that. Thankfully, they do not kill him off in that first episode, and I was happy. Oh, God. But, of course, you know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to stall his fate. All right, like, they make this take place before the infected raid that happens on the town. Well, not really on the town, but, like, they're just trying to prevent it, right? And Ellie going on that run stuff. So they're clearly trying to stall Joel's fate. And also that's what kind of like that they're doing that, because at least we kind of see where Joel and Ellie stand in their dynamic. You can clearly tell there's tension between them. Like, Ellie is angry at Joel for something. Well, we know why she's mad at Joel as we played the game. We obviously know what happens at the end of the first season when, he saves her from the Fireflies, despite the fact that she was going to be the cure. He ends up robbing her of the chance of, producing the cure. Because obviously the result was she was going to die in the process, and he didn't like that. So we know why she's potentially mad. She obviously found out the truth and resents him and, well, basically hates him. But still, I guess they're sort of talking. Like, they have that moment where he still goes to a room and they're like kind of having like this awkward father and daughter, which it kind of seemed like a very human, normal thing that you see here. That's kind of what I like about this. It's very much still realistic. I mean, yes, I know it takes place during the zombie apocalypse, right? But still, like, at least you still felt like these characters were still real. Like, these characters could exist in our world. That's what I like with the show. So I like that they did that. Not to mention we get to see what is Joel's role in the town. Like, he is obviously in the construction business, obviously of the town, the construction division. As obviously we know that before the infection happened, he was a construction worker. So I like that they kind of do that. He's there building up circuits. And the only other thing I'll say about what I love about this episode, the Dina character. All right, Dina was actually really damn Elisabella Mercedes, I think her name Mercedes. Sorry if I mispronounced her name. I shouldn't mispronounce it. I'm fucking Latino too. Like, I shouldn't mispronounce that name. But anyways, so Isabella Mercedes, she's very good in this episode, and wow, like her dynamic with Joel. I like they kind of are establishing a bit of like a father and daughter dynamic with her and Joel as well, because like it kind of adds like to the potential, like, because obviously Ellie's like a daughter to Joel, so it kind of sets up a kind of like, I guess, a father-in-law aspect to Dina, because obviously if you know Dina, she is obviously a love interest to Ellie. So I thought that was an interesting thing to put in there, that they do have a dynamic. They even plan a movie night. I thought that was very nice that they're having a movie night, and Dina invites Ellie to that movie night, but obviously it's because of that tension that's going on between Joel and Ellie. She's unsure. So I like they're adding those aspects to this show, and overall this episode is very good. Now, another thing I'll say about this episode is, of course, that scene, when they go after the infected, obviously the clicker, right? They go into that, I guess, what is it, a store or whatever? Or I don't know what the hell that place is, right? But either way, they go there, and Ellie potentially spots a smart infected, like a stalker, if you will. I think that's what they're calling it. Now, that's very interesting. Now they become more intelligent, more evolved. Because remember, if you saw, like, the first season, what Joel said, like, the fungus isn't that smart. It's like, well, now we're kind of saying it might be. So I thought that was interesting. They added that in there. I not wait to see where they go with that. And so there's that. But also, let me say, I should probably, rewind a bit of the way this episode starts off, too. As I kind of think I just kind of went off a bit. The way that this episode started off, obviously you have the recap, blah, 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 right? Previously on The Last of Us. Well, they started off with extending a bit of the cliffhanger of the ending of Season 1, aka the game. I didn't really think that was necessary. I don't know why they kind of threw that in there. It's just really like, she says, okay, they just stare at each other. I guess it kind of like, to kind of show the skepticism within Ellie when it comes to Joel. I don't know. Well, either way, I felt like you could have done without it. I feel like they were better off starting off with Abby and her group mourning the loss of all the Fireflies, including her father. Which, by the way, let me just say, give me 1 second as I research her name. Caitlin Dever is her name. Okay, there you go. Because that name was freezing on my mind right now. Like, so sorry if sometimes some of the names do not always occur to me, right? That's always something I'll have to deal with. But yeah. So Caitlin Dever was an interesting choice to cast. I mean, she was actually a fan favorite for Ellie. Like, people wanted her to play Ellie. But, she ended up ultimately getting the role of Abby, which I thought was very interesting, and I kind of liked the casting choice. Now, it became controversial when they didn't make her muscular like she was in the game. I personally don't care. All right? Because I never found it believable that Ellie would go to fight that chick in the game, considering that Ellie is still scrawny as fuck in the game. So, like, I kind of am glad they're kind of in the same weight class. So, like, a fight between them would look way more realistic. Let's be real. Even though they both are in shape for their roles, still, like, it will look believable, and it won't look goofy like the game does. So, yeah, there's, I like they start off with Abby and her group. Now, they introduced Abby early on, not like the game where they kind of like leave us in suspense of who this person is and why she's doing this to Joel, blah, blah, blah. I kind of hated that aspect of the game. I'm kind of glad they kind of got that out of the way. Who is this character? Okay, first of all, they say her name. And just by that one scene, it's a very short scene as well. Like, you're really just there. They're all mourning the loss. She's there, like, she's angry. All right? Like, she wants pure vengeance. So, like, they automatically establish her motivation in the show. And then when she goes, like, when I kill him, I want it done slowly. Something like that, she says. And the way she looks back and says, it's like, there you go. That's how you make a really good villain already. Like, the way they established that character already beat the living hell out of the game. And so therefore now when you finally get to her arc, I feel like it will now be more believable. And now you'll see the humanity within Abby, which I hope they keep that consistent throughout the season. I really do. So there's that. And one thing I'll say about Joel, and by the way, let's talk about this one thing. Catherine O'Hara as Gale, who, by the way, is not even a character from the game. She's just kind of made up for the show. Worth it. Catherine O'Hara is a fucking legend. No matter what she's in, she basically always steals the show. Whether it's a Home Alone or a Beetlejuice, she steals the show. And this is no exception to that. My God, her scene with Pedro Pascal as she's doing Joel's therapy session, and how, like, she's there drinking. She's like, you don't have to do this. Like, I'm just celebrating as the first, I guess, like, New Year's Eve without my husband after 40, whatever, right? But then we get to, like, no, that's a lie. I hate you. You killed my husband. And maybe it might have been out of self-defense, who knows, but I still hate the fact that you're in my house, and I'm going to help you. But, like, and then she kind of says, like, but now I've said it out loud. Now I will help you. And then, like, obviously she's there. He's basically there trying to, like, fix his relationship with Ellie, but without really addressing the elephant in the room, which is the fact that he did save her without any kind of consent, without really giving her a choice. He kind of just ignores that. And I like how she's saying, look, I just said my issues out loud. Now you got to say yours out loud. And all he literally says is, I saved her. Which, by the way, that came direct. Since it's been a hot minute since I've played, like, the first bit of the game, the part 2, but, like, I feel like that was kind of the replacement of Joel telling Tommy about what happened. You know what I mean? I think that's what they were kind of trying to do. Now, it's probably obvious, but, like, still, like, or maybe, who knows, maybe the next episode will have that scene that from the game between Tommy and Joel. But either way, it's going to be interesting to see where they go moving forward with this. I also like that they do have moments between Tommy and Ellie, just establish their dynamic. Because obviously, if you know the game, you know that those two do share a lot of screen time. So that, I feel like, just to get that, I feel like what this episode was more than anything was more of an establishment episode. Let's establish where they are now, what's the status of everyone. Like, I also like they kind of have that moment between I can't remember her name. I just call her Tommy's wife for now, but, like, she's there saying, oh, you gotta move faster. Like, and Joel's like, what do you want us to do? We are running out of room. Eventually, we cannot fit people in this town. And she's there like, we can't just say no. It's like, yes, we can. Because we gotta think for ourselves and our survival. All right. And I also like they kind of added a nice touch, the fact that Joel is an uncle now, which kind of, like, brings him a little hope. And I feel like, in a way, this episode showed us that Joel is a bit of a softie now. It's more not like the game where he's like, he's basically, you don't even know where his status is. Like, how is he today? Is he more vulnerable? They didn't really. That's one of the things why the game just did not work on that aspect with Joel, is that you don't really see where he's at today, other than obviously when Ellie figures out the truth. I guess that affected him, but at the same time, they could have done a better job. Because, look, I'm saying this because I have seen clips of the game. All right, I never actually played the full game, but, like, I've seen clips here and there, and I've spoke to a lot of friends who told me much spoilers of the second game. So therefore, yeah, I like that they actually kind of established that, yeah, Joel is now a bit of a softie. He's more vulnerable. He's more trusting, more open to people. So yeah, of course, in terms of trusting may be a big word considering that he doesn't tell anybody he's in therapy. I don't even think Tommy knows he's in therapy. Dina, as of right now, is the only one that knows he's in therapy. But clearly he trusts her enough. I was like, because during his therapy session with Gail, he says that Dina is basically treating him like a father, but she's not his daughter. Which I like that kind of at that moment is like, and then Gail goes like, neither is Ellie. It's like, ooh, now that must suck. But yeah, like I do like the way. Obviously, you have the New Year's Eve party, which was handled super well. I've seen that clip from the game. And of course, the chemistry between Dina and Ellie is established really well. I really like the way what they're doing with it. They're very funny together. You know, they work together really well. They have each other's back. So yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Plus, Ellie getting bit again in the gun, and she has to like cut it up, and then like make it seem like it's just basically maybe a cut and all that. And she just stitches it up and just heals it. Now, who knows? I'm really interested to see if they do put spores in this show. Because I've heard rumors that might be in there, but like, let's see what happens. I hope they do put spores in this. We'll just have to wait and see. So yeah. Overall, I thought this was a very good episode. Very good start to the season. I cannot wait to see. I'm very cautious. So, as obviously, as you know, I'm not the biggest fan of part 2 because I didn't even finish part 2 because I didn't like the decisions I made. It's going to be interesting to see which episode they do make Joel go on his golfing trip. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you do like this video, please hit that like button. And if you want to show your support, please hit that subscribe button. All right, I'll be seeing you next week for my spoiler review for episode 2. I will definitely do my best to get right on top of that one, all right? Hope you all have a wonderful night.